Hi guys, it's me, Kind. So this video is going to be a wig tutorial on this vintage 1950s poodle hairstyle. It's a style that was made famous by the likes of Lucille Ball, but this is like the dragged up on steroids version. Lots of you guys have actually requested this tutorial from me. We're just gonna pretend like these requests aren't years old. I like to wait until a trend is really gone. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Nobody wants it. Everybody's tired of seeing it. That's when I decide to jump on the bandwagon. By the way, this is so unrelated. I got a new ring light, not to replace my old one, but just so that I have two instead of one. So if I look extra beautiful today, more so than usual, it's because I'm more illuminated. So this is what the style is like. And here's the back. I just put it up into a little updo. And despite what you may think, this is actually quite a long wig. It's like 26, 28 inches. I gave it a little bit of a haircut, added some texture to it, and then just put it all up and curled it really tightly. So I'm gonna go through all the details of that. So we're just gonna jump into the tutorial and I'll be back in the end to give my final comments. All right, peace. Hi guys, all right, so I've got my wig on the wig stand right here. And first things first, thank you for noticing my haircut. Yes, I did just recently get it cut. Not a big deal. This isn't a video about my hair, you guys. It's a video about my hair. This wig is very long. It's probably like 28 inches. So I am gonna give it a little bit of a haircut because it's like too long to handle. I'm just gonna be cutting it like this, adding some layers to it and adding some texture in different lengths so it's not super long, you know what I mean? I like to go in like sideways into the wig so that I pull out a vertical section like that. And that way, when I cut the hair like that, I'm ensuring that the top layers are shorter than the bottom layers. Let me just sweep up the floor. All right, that is gross. Disgusting. Disgusting. Okay, you probably see no change, do you? You'll have to take my word that it did make a difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl this wig. And with this hairstyle, we're really going to be paying attention to the tight spiral curls in the hair. And so for this, more than any other style that I've done, it's very important to really neatly get the hair into the rollers, especially the ends, because if you get the ends like all knotted up and wacky looking when they go into the rollers, they're gonna come out and look really frizzy and not clean when you take them out. And you want them to look really clean and neat for the final style, right? Another comment I'll make is that since this hair is so long, and since I really want nice tight curls, I'm gonna take smaller sections than I normally would, so fit a little bit less hair into the rollers. You're gonna have to use more rollers to achieve it, but that's what I'm doing since the hair is very long. And this usually is the time that I put on an audiobook, a podcast, a song, a YouTube video, and just study on with the rest of the wig. Gone ahead and curled this entire wig, putting it up in rollers. So I'm gonna put a bag over it and steam it for about 3 to 4 minutes. And a word of advice, if you've got a standing steamer like this guy, the steamer works best when you're holding the hose up high. If you're holding the hose all the way down here, the water pools in the hose. And so if you can hold the head as high as you can, that makes it work as efficiently as possible.
A few moments later.
Alright, so this wig is steamed and the steam is still sort of you know, saturating into the hair. So I'm gonna leave it to dry for like 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go in with a blow dryer on hot air and speed up the drying process for like another 5 minutes. Otherwise, you could just leave it overnight to dry. So I'm gonna come back when the curlers are dry and we're gonna see how it came out. All right guys, so my curlers are dry now and I'm ready to take them out. But unlike some of my other wig styles, I'm gonna take them out in a very particular way. So very gently, you wanna unravel the roller. I'm gonna take my brush, my nice smoothing brush, and I'm gonna brush the hair straight like that. And I'm actually gonna take my Got To Be hairspray and I'm gonna spray it. And then brush that hairspray through. And then start to pick out some strands and curl them like that. And the reason for the hairspray is because I just find that it helps to keep the hair looking really smooth when it comes out of the curlers. And it sort of stops it from looking too frizzy, because sometimes that can be an issue. Like, see how the ends just look so clean and beautiful? I really want to preserve that. All right, I'm just realizing as I'm in the middle of discussing the importance of hairspray, I've run out of hairspray and I don't have any more spare bottles, so I'm gonna run to the store and I'll be right back. And I'm back! Got another can of hairspray. Sorry for the interruption, but we're gonna continue. Taking down the rollers, I've like clipped this hair up with a little pin to keep the curls from falling, but we're gonna keep continuing, carefully unraveling the curler from the hair. Do not rip it out. And then spraying it with hairspray so that it sort of keeps that nice smooth curl without frizzing up at the ends. And then I sort of do this with them. So see how taking that out of the section, if I just let that fall, that whole thing is just one big strand of hair. So the other important thing I'm doing after I take it out of the section is separating it so that instead of one big strand of hair, I'm separating it into like 4 or 5, right? So there's 1, 2, 3, and then twirl the ends with your fingers to keep that nice little spiral at the end. And that's gonna make it really nice and bouncy. All right, so I've taken down all the hair that's falling back, all the hair that's down. So all of this hair up here is gonna be the bun of the poodle, the big poof in the middle. Now, before we sort that out, we're gonna sort all of this out. And we've sort of already done a lot of the work by taking them down really slowly and precisely. Now, I would not take a brush and just brush through the hair like that, because it's gonna ruin all those little tight spirals and all the individual curls that we worked so hard to really separate from each other. I think what I'm feeling is putting it all up into a ponytail in the back, so that this is what the side profile looks like, and then here I would have a big bun. So I think let's do something like that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, starting from ear to ear, I'm gonna do some back combing. So to do the back combing, I'm actually gonna use a comb. This is a fine-tooth comb. Normally what I used to tease is a brush that looks like this, but this one is much more narrow, as you can tell. The reason why is because I'm not teasing to create volume, but I really only want a little bit of lift and a little bit of resistance at the root. So instead of doing this circular motion of teasing like that, like I usually do when I tease, I'm just gonna go like this. So I'm strictly just going sideways, right, towards the scalp. And this is just so I can pull it into that ponytail a little bit easier. If you need to sort out the ends again, because sometimes they will get a little bit messy, just go back in and brush them out, just the ends, and then twirl them in your fingers again to reintroduce that nice coil that was there. Right? Just like that. So I've teased this entire back section out, or at least lightly backcombed it. So let's take those clips out. Now I'm gonna pull it up into a ponytail, and I want it up high. So I want the ponytail to land like right here. So I'm gonna start brushing this hair up towards the middle, where I want the base of the ponytail to be. Just like that. Clip in there. All I'm doing is smoothing out this hair right here. I'm not pulling the brush all the way through because I don't want to disturb those ends. With a clip. And then now that the hair is like that, I'm going to pull it up into the ponytail. And I'm going to take an elastic band and secure the ponytail. By the way, whenever you're going to do a ponytail or any kind of updo where the back of the wig is going to be showing, these have to be anchored down with long pins. Otherwise, this is going to lift up and your wig is not going to stretch over your head. All right, so now I've got my ponytail in the back. So the next thing I want to do is disguise this green band. So I'm going to take one strand and wrap her around. And then pin her somewhere underneath the ponytail. So I've disguised that band, and now the next thing I want to do is perk this ponytail up so it's sitting up here, and it looks just nicer to me. So this hair that I'm actually holding in my fingers, I'm gonna anchor that here using bobby pins. So I'm gonna just create a little X formation with bobby pins right there. That's gonna pin that ponytail into place. Just like that. All right. You can play with it, zhuzh it up. Again, if there's any frizzy ends, you know what to do. Give it the good old smooth out with a brush. Hairspray. And then separate it with your fingers. Like that. So now let's deal with the top section of hair, that big poof that we want to create. So again, I'm going to take down the hair in a very similar way to exactly what we did in the back. Good coat of hairspray, brushing the hairspray through. And then let's see all those individual curls, just like that. You know what? In fact, to make things easier for us, I think what we can do is actually backcomb them at the same time as we take them down. So as you take down one section of hair, go in with that comb and then backcomb the root. Just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you're working with a newer wig, you're not going to have that much resistance from just doing 5. It might take more than that. You can use some hairspray at the root if it's not teasing properly or not teasing enough for your liking. And the counting to 5 is just for consistency over the whole head, right? So that you can keep track of doing the same thing each time. You just want consistency. I've done to the front what I've done to the back, and so now it's time to see how this is all going to come together and create our big poodle bun. You basically want to create another ponytail right on top of your head, like right here in the middle. You want to smooth out that front section so it looks nice and pretty. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take another rubber band, create another ponytail right at the top of the head. A nice true, like, sort of vintage style would just take this handful of hair and then just anchor it to the head like that, right? It's a little bit Prince, it's sort of like a pompadour, and I actually really love this style. I think it's really pretty, but I think what you guys want to see is the poodle a la Trixie Mattel, the one that has a perfect circle up here. And so the way we're gonna achieve that is by using something that you get with every single wig you buy, but you probably throw out, and that's the hairnet that the hair comes in. Looks like this. It's like a fishnet stocking, but very sheer, very delicate. You're gonna take this and you're gonna wrap it around the hair. And because it's a black wig net on black hair, it's very hard to see. And that's what's gonna give you that perfect ball. Now this doesn't look very much like a ball. Like at some angles you can see where the hair is. So that tells me that it needs more zhuzhing up. It needs a little bit more backcombing. So not really backcombing the root of hair, but just the root where the hair meets the ponytail. All right, so doing a little bit of backcombing there. You're gonna do lots of this. And then this got fucked up, so it needs a little bit of smoothing out, a little bit of twirling with the finger, and it's nice and pretty again. And let's try wrapping it in the hairnet again. All right, this is much harder than the first time because it keeps getting caught in the pins. All right, then all the slack that you've got at the back, hey, that rhymes, you're gonna pin down with a bobby pin. And where am I gonna pin it? I'm gonna pin it right to the top of the ponytail that we created in the back. So it all meets in the center of the wig. So sort of twisting it so I don't have any excess hair nettage. Getting all of that slack and pinning it down. Right, and then now you sort of zhuzh it up. In order to make it so that the inside of the bun doesn't look like a hot mess, that's why we spend so much time sort of separating each individual curl and making it look really smooth so that when you look inside, it just looks like a bunch of nice spiral curls rather than a huge ball of teasing. So if you're looking at it and you still see some bits that just look too frizzy and not clean enough, peel back the hairnet and go in and smooth those out. I mean, we spent all that time like carefully removing each roller so neatly, separating every single individual curl, because the idea was to disguise the backcombing that's underneath with these nice tight spirals of curls, right? Trying to place them strategically so all the ends of the curls are right up front. All right, guys, this is how the finished wig is looking. I'm just gonna get into drag really quick and I'll be back to show you guys what the wig looks like on my head. And this is the finished look. Okay, so you guys are probably wondering, how am I gonna do this if I want to do this with a different color of wig, like say a blue wig, and I don't have a blue hairnet? It just so happens that most hairnets are black, that's why I did this with a black wig. But sometimes you can get a blonde hairnet or a white hairnet with blonde wigs, and if you've got light enough colored hair, then you can probably get away with a white hairnet. But if you really want a perfect color match, your only option would be to find or source a white hairnet and then dye it with fabric dye. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you learned something cool. Be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave me your thoughts down in the comments if you did. I'm really pleased with the way that the wig turned out. I just feel like I stepped right off of the set of Grease, except instead of Olivia Newton-John, Sandy's played by Halle Berry, if Halle Berry was half Filipino. Like, that's my story. I hope you guys are inspired to try this out for yourselves, and please tag me in your pictures if you do, because I'd love to see. Speaking of which, here are some Instagrams of people who have tagged me in their pictures trying out my tutorials. Thanks so much for the tag, and thank you for watching, and to all of you, thank you for just being a subscriber and supporter here on this channel. I really appreciate it. Let me know what else you guys want to see me do next, and until next time, I hope you guys are all doing well. Bye!